I'm Mike Marshall with Beat the Traffic, and now we get over to Candace, and we'll talk more about that tomato cake.
Tomato cake and other things you can do with all those fresh tomatoes you have in the garden right now. Janine Washle is here from Cloverfields Farm and Kitchen to give us some ideas, and one of them is a no-cook marinara sauce.
Yes, a no-cook marinara sauce. So you put it together in the morning before you leave for work, cover it with some saran wrap, leave it on the counter for about 6 to 8 hours, and then when you come home, boil your pasta, and you toss it with the sauce that's had, time to marinate all day, and the warm spaghetti or whatever your noodle. Exactly, it warms it up. So done. I mean, literally, you've got your meal in just a few minutes.
All right, so we start with
4 cups of tomatoes.
Okay.
This is how easy it comes together.
What kind of tomatoes do you grow?
Oh my goodness, they're all heirloom varieties, and I'm always looking for varieties that have my family's name. Now, I don't know anybody named Rebecca, but that's a Rebecca variety, and the pink tomatoes that are in there are called David tomatoes. And I got them over at
David.
Yes, I got them over at Thieneman's greenhouse over on Hurstbourne.
All of the garlic?
All of the garlic.
All right.
It's probably 2 teaspoons of garlic mixed with a little bit of salt. You don't want to run that through the mincing, that little mincing device that you have. It breaks it up too much and it gets a little bit harsh.
Okay.
And so the salt's in there. And then your mixed herbs, just like what you would use in a pasta sauce. With this, we've got oregano, parsley, and fresh basil.
It
all
smells
fresh.
so good.
And then
this looks like bruschetta, which is really kind of what you're making, but then after it sits for a while, it gets a little more saucy, right?
Yes, and just a little bit of olive oil to pull it all together, and then salt. Remember, salt is a seasoning that helps us bridge flavors, and a little bit of pepper, and that is it. Then we would cover it, leave it for 6 hours, boil our pasta, add our pasta to it, just like that, and it's warm pasta, toss it, and then you end up with this.
A spaghetti dish that just looks yummy.
And when you think about it, everything's ratios. So if you added, like if you had some leftovers and you added a little vinaigrette to it, you would have, just a kicking pasta salad at that point. You could add croutons to it and have an Italian favorite called panzanella salad.
Is that what this is?
Actually, that's an old-fashioned Southern favorite called tomato bread pudding.
That looks really good.
So it was a dish called scalloped tomatoes, but I put more bread into it and I cut back on the eggs and the cream. So
let me ask you about the tomato cake. What was the inspiration for this? The
tomato soup cake, the old-fashioned tomato soup cake, but I just couldn't get my head around using tomato soup with the preservatives and all of that stuff in that can. So I used 2 cups, well, it's 1 3/4 cups of fresh tomato sauce. And then I added cinnamon to it, orange zest, and
that does not sound good, but you say it tastes like spice cake.
It does. You don't taste the tomato, and when you cut into it, it's got this beautiful, deep, rich red color. And I cut back on the oil. That's another thing that turned me off from the soup cake. It was 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. So I did 1/4 cup of oil and 1/4 cup of applesauce.
And so you get the moisture from the tomatoes and the applesauce.
You got it.
Good. All right. I can't wait to try that. Janine, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And in about a half an hour, Janine is going to be back, and she's going to give us some ideas with green tomatoes, including some green tomato fritters you can fry up at home. I'm looking forward to that.